Module 5, Learner Feedback. Module Focus, Introduction. One important distinction to make when giving learner feedback is that of formative versus summative evaluation. Formative evaluation is a way of giving students feedback along the way. It is the answer to the questions, "How am I doing so far?" and "How can I improve?" Summative evaluation includes those kinds of evaluation that summarize a student's overall performance. For example, the final grade for a course. In this module, we'll look at some general do's and don'ts for formative learner feedback and some specific techniques for giving feedback on work that students have produced when the primary focus is on oral skills and on writing skills. Number 1, viewing points, general do's and don'ts. Some general guidelines for feedback are to understand why the error has happened. For example, it was a guess, it was a careless mistake, or it actually showed an error in the student's understanding of the rules or use of the language. When it is an actual language error, analyze what kind of error it is. For example, a vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, or a pragmatic error. Choose a feedback technique that fits both the error type and the context in which it occurred. Ask yourself, what are the important errors in this context? Did the error prevent us from understanding? And what errors are worth overlooking in the interest of fluency, continuity, overall communication, and so on?
If you don't understand him, what do? Ask him to repeat. I want you to say folder. Folder. Yes, better.
Whenever possible, use feedback mechanisms so that the students can self-edit and self-correct, or edit with a peer or in groups. Above all, encourage rather than discourage. Use positive feedback over negative. Students are more likely to engage with the language when they feel motivated, confident, and successful.
So clap your hands for yourself for the second time. That's very good.
Video segment number 1. Observe the following video segments as two different teachers describe their approaches and techniques for dealing with feedback. What techniques did the teachers use? What is the relationship between classroom atmosphere or tone and student performance?
I have everything from barely can speak a word to almost a native speaker. So, and you see that in the interaction with the children, as you know, some of them are really bold. But about mid-year, I had a real huge transition as I conferenced with the parents and really encouraged the parents to encourage their students to participate more in class. It made a huge difference, like 75% difference. I had almost the majority of my kids participating during English language time compared to 5 kids really participating. So that was a huge shift for me and something really exciting to see with the culture that I'm working with in my classroom. All of them came to their conferences, and literally the next week it was a complete shift of kids being more involved. My teaching didn't really change. We didn't have new curriculum or anything. It was just a matter of, it's okay, we learn by making mistakes, and if you don't practice, you're never going to learn, or you're going to learn a lot more slowly. And they all are really anxious to learn. They really want to be good English speakers, and because of our language model here in our classroom, we have only a limited time in English, and they really need to take advantage of it.
They will work in groups according to their learning styles. We're going to assign them different topics, the topics they studied last year, and they have to develop some activities like exercises, something like that, according to their learning styles. Then they will switch the activities, and the other groups are going to solve the activities. You know what I mean? The activities, for example, Group A prepared. The other groups are going to solve the activities, the exercises, and after that, the original group will collect the activities and they will check them.
Summary. In both cases, the teachers have created a classroom atmosphere where it is okay to make mistakes. Making mistakes and using a trial and error process for learning counts as a positive student behavior. Students help each other, correct each other, and even design activities for each other. Number 2, viewing points. Feedback on oral production. There are many reasons for students to engage in speaking tasks, from a simple, almost formulaic level, for example, greeting others, asking directions, shopping, or telling or retelling a story, on up to a more complex level, stating a point of view, synthesizing information and reporting on it, debating, performing in a play, and so on.
And what did they find in the mouth?
$1 million.
$1 million. Look, happy, happy, happy. They were very happy. Who can give me the first sentence? Maria?
Me and Ted.
The family went camping near a cradle lake.
Very good. Now, Yanita, can you give the next one?
Okay. He went to the what?
When did they go?
Oh, they go to the Cradle Lake.
No, when? Did they go on Monday?
Oh,
On the
weekend. I know.
So give a sentence, Yanita.
The girl and the boy went to the weekend.
On the weekend.
On the weekend.
Sunday.
What?
Saturday and Sunday.
And they made a small.
Oh, ooh, thank you. Pedro. We're going to give that one to Pedro.
They rent a little house and a large canoe.
Good. Michelle?
The first is sun, and they canoe ride.
What?
Canoe. They went for a canoe ride.
And they caught a fish.
2 hours. With hours.
How long did they go?
For 2 hours. And they caught the fish and opened his mouth, fish, and found a little dollar coin.
What?
Found $1 million coin.
Like,
Keep going, Michelle.
and they are happy.
Come on, you guys can get happier than that.
Action techniques are useful for giving feedback while a student is performing. Examples include using gestures or silent mouthing, offering a quick correction, reformulating, and asking for clarification or for repetition. Delayed correction techniques avoid interruptions and allow students to speak or write with fluency and cohesion. In this case, observers note errors and give individual, group, or whole class feedback afterwards. The feedback can be oral or written. Teachers can also record or videotape students. Students can then self-reflect, get feedback from others, and/or receive feedback from the teacher. Number classroom. Some questions to ask ourselves in order to provide students with helpful feedback include the following. Is the mistake or error really wrong? Or could it be my imagination? I can always ask for clarification or a repetition.
Did you ask in English?
Is this a mistake that several students are making? Should I pull back and redirect the group or the whole class instead of the individuals? Does the mistake or error affect communication? Are we concentrating on accuracy at the moment? Would on-the-spot or delayed feedback or even ignoring it altogether be more appropriate?